Hello, and welcome to our session on building engagement and supporting active learning in the remote, blended, or socially distanced classroom. My name is Aidan Liston, and together with my colleague Siobhan O'Sullivan, we look forward to providing a brief overview of how to build engagement with our students in the current climate. By the end of this session, we hope you will have a greater understanding of student engagement, student learning habits and the implications of these for planning for teaching and engaging students online, strategies that foster student engagement in online and socially distanced learning, and the supports available from PDST to teachers and schools to support remote and blended learning. Traditionally, much of our teaching happened within the face-to-face context, with learners being present in the same room as their teacher. When schools closed in March 2020, there was an immediate and widespread move to supporting learners online and engaging them in distance learning. During this period, teachers were exposed to new ways of using digital technologies, which highlighted their use in supporting and enhancing teaching, learning, and assessment. It must be acknowledged that this required a seismic change in practice, and teachers are to be commended for adapting overnight. Resulting from this new knowledge and increased experience, we now see a move towards embracing digital technologies more meaningfully in the classroom context and beyond. In May 2020, a survey conducted by the OECD asked countries what they saw as the future of education. Just over 22% indicated that they saw a return to normal schooling, while over half saw a hybrid model as the new normal, not just out of necessity during the pandemic, but also because it presents greater opportunities, including personalisation of learning. The pandemic has brought technology out of the niche and into the mainstream. What do we mean by engagement? This sketch note from Sylvia Duckworth demonstrates Philip Schlechty's levels of engagement. 4 components are always present when a student is engaged. The engaged student is attentive, committed, persistent, and finds meaning and value in the tasks that make up the work.
When considering online and socially distanced learning, it is important that we bear in mind the learning habits of our students. First of all, our learners tend to have short attention spans, and it's very common for them to keep shifting between apps and screens every few seconds. They prefer short, bite-sized lessons that are precise, relevant, and focus on one particular subject or concept. They access content in a very different way, mostly random, sporadic, and non-sequential. We all do that nowadays, but they do that more than anyone, and they're very quick at it. They have a preference for rich and engaging multimedia content which is crafted to engage them. They learn and consume content on the go, anytime, anywhere on their personal devices. When planning for teaching online, it's worthwhile to consider the following. What topics will you teach online? Some topics may lend themselves to being taught online more than others. If you have a choice, consider what topics in your subject area are most suited to online teaching. As we would in a face-to-face environment, set norms around behaviour and expectations for students. Try and replicate normal classroom activities as much as possible, where it is unlikely that we would talk for 40 to 60 minutes. Build in time for reflection, research, independent and pair or group work, and punctuate class time with these opportunities for students to take ownership of their learning. When using your school online platform, ensure all resources are easily accessible for students. Use the features available on your school's platform for providing feedback. Teachers should communicate to students the times they will be available for responding to queries. Clarity should be provided around assignment dates, when students will receive feedback, and how that feedback will be presented. It's also important to plan for variety in blended and online learning. This may mean presentations, text, video, and audio in different lessons, or changing assessment tasks so that students are required to answer questions, give opinions, contribute to online discussions, create presentations, digital stories, etc. Developing and maintaining student engagement in online learning is not an easy task. The relationships, connection, and engagement of face-to-face learning is something that is not easily replicated in an online setting. However, online teaching and learning also provides opportunities to students and teachers that are not possible in a face-to-face environment. On screen are some strategies that can be used to unlock student engagement in online and socially distanced classrooms, and we will now look at each one in turn. Encouraging interaction and discussion from the beginning of a lesson is something that we practice in face-to-face learning, so online learning should be no different. At the beginning of an online class, ask students a question that they can answer using the chat feature. This doesn't have to be related to the topic of your online class. Choose a question or topic that you know will interest students and that is easy to answer. The important thing is that all students are able to answer the question and therefore use the chat feature at the very beginning of class. Once the use of the chat feature has been normalised, you can progress to using it for classroom-based discussion and questioning, giving students a chance to share their ideas and opinions. This can also be progressed to oral discussion. Share questions in advance so that students are not put on the spot. Planning for different types of discussion in both live and asynchronous lessons is important. Using your online learning platform to set assignments that require students to choose how they would like to engage in the discussion is a useful tactic. For example, students could be given the option of typing a response, creating a short video, or an audio response to the topic. As you would in class, use wait time both before selecting someone to answer and also after the student answers to allow for an extended response. If you want students to turn on their cameras, let them know this in advance. Many students may not feel comfortable turning on their cameras during class time, but prior notification may make students less apprehensive. Show students how they can turn on virtual backgrounds so that those who don't feel comfortable sharing their home environments can still contribute to class. Students' reluctance to answer questions aloud can be reduced by sharing questions in advance of class, either by using a lobby slide as shown here, or through the discussion chat stream feature of your school's platform. This provides students with thinking time. Here's another example of a subject-specific lobby slide, which reminds students of what they need to have to hand during the lesson, as well as getting them in the right frame of mind for online learning.
Video can be used to introduce, supplement, and reinforce learning. Some of the benefits of using videos are: learners come to class prepared and with some prior knowledge. They can preview content in advance of class and acquire some of the necessary foundational knowledge that will enable them to more easily grasp associated concepts explored in class. Teachers can move from being a content deliverer to a facilitator. They are available to support learners when they need them most, completing tasks and applying knowledge. Learners can view and review videos at their own pace and therefore control the pace of their learning, as well as being able to view the video at a time that suits their household circumstances. Creating your own educational videos is an excellent way of engaging students and allows you to cater to the specific needs of your students. You may choose to create instructional videos, which are particularly useful when you want to produce a recording showing a particular skill or technique to students. The following is an example of an instructional video showing the bisection of a line.
A, and swing an arc above and below line A and B. Keeping that same distance on your compass, now put it at point B and swing an arc to intersect the first arc.
You may also wish to create screencast videos showing a presentation, diagram, website, or other content from your device's screen, along with your narration. The following are some examples of how screencasting might be used.
Process sin agus scuilen leis an process risbrad a lán fuinmh. Agus tá fuinmh an ceann atá tábhachtach dún chum níos mó fuinmh, níos mó task go dtí na cáithníní. Okay? Tá sé le feiceáil an sin tá a bhfad níos mó fuinmh ag na cáithníní. Céim dó tá tú chun cúpla brain Aidan a thugant agus tá tú chun é a chur ar an arán. An tríú céim ná tá tú chun fécint ar cad é an athrú dá.
Both of these formats of video content can prove very useful for a range of topics in different subject areas. If you wish to create animated videos, tools such as Adobe Spark Video, VideoScribe, Movely, and Powtoon can be used to make subject-specific video content. Alternatively, students can create video using these tools to show what they have learned. Some guidelines to follow when creating educational videos that will help to ensure student engagement are: keep it short. Videos that are any longer than 6 to 8 minutes will run a substantial risk of losing students' attention. Consider chunking videos into smaller sections if they need to be longer than 6 to 8 minutes. Use a conversational style. This is more likely to lead to greater engagement and effort from students when compared to the use of formal language. It's also important to speak at a normal rate and with enthusiasm. It can be tempting to speak slowly to help ensure students grasp important ideas, but students will have the ability to pause, rewind, and rewatch the video, unlike face-to-face teaching, so keeping an upbeat tone is more important. Providing graphics and illustration where possible can help students to better understand the content and can reduce the cognitive load required to do so. Ensure that you have permission to use any content you source for your video, such as text, music, and images. Check the references slide for more information on copyright. Enhance your video by integrating questions or quizzes. Many platforms, such as Edpuzzle, WiserMe, and Microsoft Stream, allow you to embed questions, prompts, and reminders into your videos to help keep students engaged and to help you check for understanding. Students can be asked to complete activities that encourage them to actively engage with and reflect on the content they are watching, reading, or listening to. This can range from active note-taking to completing related worksheet activities.
The biggest drawback of conventional education, and one of the main contributors to low student engagement, is the lack of personalisation. In a class of 30 students, every individual is different, with different abilities, prior learning dispositions, strengths and weaknesses. Some students may grasp a concept quickly, while others may need more time and scaffolding. Online bookmarking tools can provide students with more personalised learning paths. Examples include Schoolnet Learning Paths and Symbaloo. For more information, you can visit the link on screen. Schoolnet Learning Paths enable teachers to select and organise resources from Schoolnet into a sequence or collection, grouped by theme, subject, topic, or whatever the teacher chooses. Each learning path has a unique URL and can be easily shared with students. You can use Symbaloo Learning Paths to create a gaming-style digital lesson plan using open educational resources. Simply add videos, documents, questions, articles, and educational games that guide students through custom learning paths from start to finish, which they can work through at their own pace. Some students will require additional explanations on a topic, while others simply need additional challenges. By adding questions to your learning path, you can test whether the student has understood the material. If the student answers correctly, they can continue. With an incorrect answer, you have the ability to write in an explanation for the student as to why their answer is incorrect before having a second attempt at the question. Built-in analytic tools gather insightful data, for example, how long a student has been working on each step, questions that were often answered incorrectly, and identifying who needs extra help. The videos on this slide show how teachers can create learning paths using Schoolnet and Symbaloo. Many of the active learning approaches that we typically use in face-to-face learning, such as Diamond 9, KWL, and walking debates, have been more difficult to use in the online and socially distanced class. Interactive whiteboards can be used to formatively assess students either online or in a socially distanced classroom by using active approaches. Students can work either independently or collaboratively. This video shows an example of the Diamond 9 walking debate and KWLs taking place in a remote classroom using Google Jamboard, but other free online whiteboard apps are available, including Microsoft Whiteboard, Whiteboard Fi, Whiteboard Chat, and the Show Your Work question type Informative.
Entry and exit tickets are short prompts that can provide teachers with a quick student diagnostic. They help students to reflect on information learned and can be used at the start or end of a class. Advantages of entry and exit tickets include participation of each student, prompt for students to focus on key concepts and ideas, a high return of information for the amount of time invested, important feedback for the teacher. Entry tickets focus student attention on the class topic or ask students to recall background knowledge. They get students working as soon as they enter the classroom, whether physical or virtual. They are an effective strategy for monitoring student learning and introducing a new topic by linking it to prior knowledge, bridging the transition between the previous and current class to check what students remember, what they can apply, or what gaps they have in their understanding. Templates are available at the link shown on screen. This sample provides students with some choice about which entrance activity they would like to complete at the start of class. Teachers typically use exit tickets to assess what students have understood from the day's lesson. With this information, teachers can plan how to best meet student needs by modifying and differentiating instruction. Exit tickets allow teachers to see where the gaps in knowledge are, what they need to fix, what students have mastered, and what can be enriched in the classroom. Many teachers use a 3-2-1 format as an exit ticket. If you'd like to use the template but change the questions, there are many excellent suggested prompts available at the link shown on screen. Teachers can create digital exit tickets using Google or Microsoft Forms, or indeed the exit ticket function on Socrative. Choice boards are a powerful tool for engaging learners. The first example on screen is focused on a particular topic, while the second is a more general template that could be applied at the end of any class or series of classes. Choice boards should focus on a learning goal by providing options to students about how they learn and practice concepts, and support differentiation by including different levels of complexity and choices about how students present and demonstrate their learning. For greater engagement, ask students for feedback on which activities they liked the most and use this feedback to improve your boards over time. Alternatively, encourage students to create their own choice boards for a topic. In this session, we have provided a whistle-stop overview of student engagement, student learning habits and their implications when planning for engagement, and strategies that foster student engagement in the online and socially distanced classroom.
If you would like more information on blended and remote teaching and learning, or indeed using digital technologies in general, we can suggest a number of support options. The PDST Blended Learning Toolkit is available at pdst.ie/blended learning. It provides an overview of blended learning models suitable to the Irish context and provides guidance on suitable platforms, planning and practice in order to effectively embed blended learning. Further detailed webinars on blended learning are also available on this site. The PDST Digital Technologies team created a YouTube channel which contains a variety of short instructional videos exploring how digital tools can be used to support teaching, learning and assessment. Search for PDST Digital Technologies on YouTube. The PDST offers bespoke school support in digital technologies for teaching, learning and assessment, and principals can apply for this support at pdst.ie/school support. TeacherCPD.ie hosts free online CPD courses for teachers in Irish primary and post-primary schools. When personalising learning for students, we don't need to create multiple versions of the same resource. Schoolnet contains over 22,000 resources mapped to the Irish curriculum, and it's likely that other teachers may have already created resources for your subject, strand, topic, etc., which you can adapt. Articles and references throughout this presentation are included on this slide. On behalf of Aidan and I'd like to thank you for attending this session. Don't forget that our slides are available on pdst.ie/CESI 2021, where you will also find links to all tools referenced throughout this session. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now.